Okay, so normally on this channel we discuss sport. We discuss sports history. We discuss, current events that are happening in sport. Or we'll be doing like a match review on like a football match, soccer match. If you live in North America, obviously, rugby union, rugby league, ice hockey, whatever the sport may be. We'll be discussing like player movement, managerial changes, coaching changes, ownership changes, all that kind of crap. Right? This is something different, and there's a reason why I'm doing it now. We're discussing mental health and addiction, and I'm going to discuss some stuff on a personal level and more general stuff. So I will start with the personal stuff and get it out of the way, and you can understand a bit more about me, because there's a lot of new subscribers to the channel. Some of the older subscribers to the channel know a little bit about what's going on. Newer subscribers, because we've had a lot in recent days, we obviously passed the 1,000 subscriber mark as I'm making this content. Now, there's no script here. This is all me talking from personal experience, from the heart, and from my general outlook on life and what I've come across. So the reason why the channel started, a bit of the backstory for me, and then the general stuff later on. So the channel started, I started making content on the channel in 2017. A year before, my best friend died in a motorcycle accident. Now, initially, I stopped drinking, stopped using drugs. Very, very quickly, I wasn't coping. Now, my mental health issues and my addiction issues predate my friend Christian's sad, untimely passing. He was only 26. He was only 3 months older than me. And a year later, after relapsing heavily into drink and drugs, I started doing non-sport content, just general. This was me being a grumpy guy in his mid-20s who hated the world, hated myself, hated my family, and really hated everyone, really. I had a severe motorcycle accident myself not long after my friend passed away. And busted my shoulder up, so I couldn't work for 6 months. I got really bad in the drink and drugs, really bad, to the point where I didn't know where I was going to go. Now, I ended up basically having a nervous breakdown, well, 2 nervous breakdowns, and my addictions got so bad that I could only function as a human being high as a kite. Now, a lot's happened between then and now. And so I went through meetings. I did my group therapy, did my one-to-one meetings for a while, and it all seemed to work. Got back into work, and then relapses periodically happened. And then the stuff that happened before, I'm a victim of child abuse at boarding school. So my early teenage years to my mid-teenage years, I'm not scared to admit that. The police and social services completely failed. So yeah, I'm a victim of a failure of the system. And it's a very posh boarding school that I went to. You'd be surprised to know. And it's literally a mile down the road from where I currently live. So I have to literally walk past it every day on the way home from work. Now, what happened to me should never happen to a kid. It happened to loads of others. And that led me to have a very difficult relationship with my family. And it hurt a lot. I started battling drink and drugs by the age of 14. I became very difficult to live with. I would lash out against relatives on a more difficult, not just being a morose teenager, but it was not pleasant. Me and my stepdad, we do not have a positive relationship. And I ended up leaving the family home at 16. I then had a very difficult relationship with my extended family, who I ended up living with. And obviously, in more recent times, obviously I've been living by myself in several different apartments. This is my current home. I also lived in with my mate for a while, on and off. However, my friend also had a drink and drug problem, which didn't help. So we were sort of getting smashed quite a bit. Whilst functioning as adults, we held down full-time jobs while being addicts. This is later on. And then, currently, I am sober. Mental health-wise, I'm shot. So when you see me making content, I put humour in there, I do the live streams. This channel is my therapy. Talking to you guys, to a webcam, well, my inbuilt webcam on my laptop, and discussing sport is my therapy. The battles that I continue to have, like today, for example, as I'm recording this video, I was on the way home from work and I'm a broken man. Like I got in my flat and I cried. There you go. I cried. I struggle every day. Some days I'm fantastic. Lately at work it has been bad. You will notice I'm not making content every day, and I haven't been for a little while. And my mental health isn't great right now. But when I make content for you guys, it entertains you guys. There's a reason why you guys keep watching, liking, subscribing, leaving comments. But for me, it's my therapy. Now, people are going to laugh at this. People are going to leave some crap comments in the comment section that are just vile, and that's part of life. Saying you're a this and that, you know. But you guys that support the channel, you're my medicine, you're my therapy. Now, if this video saves one life, because during the course of this channel's existence, I've tried to take my life at least 4 times. That I can remember. There were other times where I came close to drinking or myself to death or overdose or even suicide by other means. And why I'm saying this is I lost 2 mates last year, 2 very close friends. One unfortunately died of cancer. He was my mate John. He was a West Ham fan, so that West Ham history video and the Mark Noble career video were for him because he was dying in hospital, and I couldn't go see him because of my job. Couldn't get the time off. He's not a relative. Can't get time off. And the West Ham history video, really, if you watch the end of that, I'm trying not to cry my eyes out. Really, I'm not. I'm that close to breaking down. I nearly didn't make the video. It took me, I think, 15, 16 attempts to do it. I had to compose myself for 5 minutes, have a quick cigarette, which I don't smoke, by the way, it's bad for you. So if any health advice, please do not ever smoke or vape. It is disgusting, and I am a smoker, but don't do it. Please. So that's my positive health note there. But no, that West Ham video I did, I'm fighting back the tears at the end. I knew I was never going to see him again. And at his funeral, his girlfriend came up to me and she said, can I talk to you? I said, yes, of course you can. She said, thank you. I said, why? For doing those 2 West Ham videos. So I said, why? He loved them. And quite honestly, I was stunned. I then found out he made a playlist of all the football club histories that I've done since 2018, because I did a few in 2018. And he made his own playlist. And he would watch them in order. And also the player profiles as well. He would watch them in order. He then made a playlist of all the ice hockey. He made a playlist on certain videos, certain topics. And then I think I did a live stream, I think a day or 2 before he became delirious in hospital and passed away. He didn't leave a single comment. He watched the entire thing. And he cried. I found out about this after he died. Unfortunately, a week later, and this is the one that really hits home, it sticks with me. Another friend of mine, Jason, who is one of the reasons why I'm still here, because he did actually save my life. No joke, save my life. After my motorcycle accident in the summer of 2021, when I made no content for 2 months, he phoned me every day at the same time. He took his own life. I'm not going to go into the circumstances behind it, but he had also battled with addictions and mental health as well at times. And he was open and honest about it with me, all the way through how he suffered from a thing called SADS, which is sensory aversive disorder, or something similar to that, which is when it gets dark in winter time. Lack of vitamin D, really struggled this time of year. He took his life in August. He took his life, I think, July or August last year, middle of summer. There are extenuating circumstances and things happened in his professional and private life that contributed, unfortunately, to his passing. I spoke to him 2 days before he went missing. I was not aware he had gone missing. And I said, I've got a few days off work. I'm gonna pop round and I'm gonna see you. I had I think I actually had my mate John's funeral. Actually, I said I'm gonna come see you. I've got a funeral, and I'll come round. The day of my friend John's funeral is the day they found Jason's body. But we didn't know until 2 days later that this had all happened. So I had just gone out of one funeral and had to go into another one within the space of 2 weeks. And I had no time to grieve. I had one day for each. And that sticks with you. It does. I lost my dad young. Well, youngish, just at the age of 20, just a month after my birthday. 2 months after his birthday. He died very suddenly of a heart attack. And that's when my drink and drug use was at its worst. He knew what happened, some of the things that happened to me at boarding school. Not everything. I did not disclose everything to him. But here's the thing, what I've learned in more recent times is to be more open and say, yeah, shit happened. Shit happened to me. I can't take it back. I can't take back all the damage that has happened with my family relationships. I can't take back all the bad errors of judgment I've made whilst under the influence of drink and drugs. Take that up with addict me, because now I'm sober. And I can't take back the damaged friendships. But I will say this. Break that cycle. Do not be ashamed to go, I have a problem. Now, I know some people at work who think smoking weed, it's nothing. I'm going to have a big fat spliff this night. No. What you're doing is you're self-medicating because you can't face the reality of your own problems. When someone goes, I'm going to knock back a few tinnies tonight, I'm having a few ciders. No. That's binge drinking. That's, again, not accepting the reality of your issues. My previous jobs, someone's, I'm going to be on it tonight, I'm going to be on a sesh on the party, drugs, all that kind of thing. That's, if you've got to get high to have a good time, you sober, your life you must live a really depressing life. You are not facing up to the issues that you have. If you are having domestic disputes with your partner, something is happening, if your job's getting done, whatever it may be. And I'm finding this out with my own workplace right now, and I have friends on Facebook who are work colleagues who will probably say the same thing. My job isn't glamorous. It's not well paid. It is what it is. Waste disposal is not a well paid job. People think, oh, you're a bin man, make loads of money. Garbage man, wherever you are in the world, make loads of money. No, we don't. I'm on £10.40 an hour right now. That's just above minimum wage, below what is classed as the living wage. As of April, technically, I have to have a pay rise regardless. Minimum pay rise of 3p. That won't be the case, but we don't know how much our pay rise is going to be with April. Obviously, costs of living have gone up, so people are feeling financial pressures, worried about feeding their kids, worried about keeping the heating on, warm. I'm struggling. I do not qualify for a lot of the things that other people qualify for right now. Because of the overtime that I do, it screws up any universal credit, any payments. So I'm not on any benefits. I'm not on the social. I have a full-time job. Sometimes when I get in, I am so mentally drained. I just don't have the energy to do the content that I want to do for you guys. And there are other days where, you know what, bollocks to it. I'm going to make 8, 9, 10, 15 videos. And you guys have seen that. But right now, where I am mentally, I'm struggling. Yesterday and today are like two of the worst days I have had in about 2 years. Actually, I feel worse now than after my motorcycle accident. I do. In the last year and a half, I phoned the Samaritans about 4 or 5 times. I've been that close. This is my therapy. But I'm not afraid to reach out. I do it in a way that's a bit different to some people. And when I see, like, when we discuss players like Maradona or Paul Gascoigne or Paul Merson or Tony Adams, and I discuss addiction in the live stream going, oh, this is another, and people are, that's what wasted talent, this player's wasting, partying. They battled with things. But we go criticise this player for drink driving or this player for, getting caught with recreational drugs, and they are battling the pressures that the media and us, the fans, put upon them. When people like Brian Clough, who was one of the best managers this country's ever produced in football, or soccer for the Americans, just keep them happy. He was an alcoholic. He was a raging alcoholic. It cost him his life. It killed him. When we discuss what's happened to Paul Gascoigne, yes, there's some domestic violence in there which I cannot condone. He raised a hand against his wife. Cannot condone that. But people say, "Oh, you're paranoid, mate." The media were tapping his phones. They were twisting his wife against him. They were twisting his friends against him. They were setting. Watch the documentary. It is shocking. He was a victim of abuse because he also times out he has bipolar. That's a very addictive personality disorder in the sense that you will self-medicate. Now, I might have that as well. I've got ADHD. A lot of people with ADHD are also at risk of other mental health issues like depression, manic depression, seasonal adverse disorder, SADS, all these various things, and addiction. When we talk about the gambling addiction that gambling and cocaine addiction and alcohol problems that Paul Merson's had, people laugh, go, "Oh, he's an addict." In reality, they're laughing at themselves because they are too scared to admit that they're violent, binge drinking, where they get aggressive and they slap their missus around. They're too afraid to admit they've got a problem. That's the cult. That when we say toxic masculinity, there's none of this woke. This is sort of the bullshit woke label. No. Toxic masculinity is not talking about your problems, not reaching out and checking on your bros, see if your mate's okay, not checking in on like maybe your in-laws. You may not get on with the mother-in-law or the sister-in-law, but hey, they're family. Not checking in, going, "Hey." I had my brother in tears on the phone to me about a year and a half ago. And my brother's got a bit of a drink and drug problem. He's too scared to fully admit. He admitted it to me and he admitted things to my mum. He's only 20. He was only 18, 19 at the time, about a year and a half ago. He's just turned 20. He's a lot younger than me. He's my half brother. And he was crying out. I said, "I know why you're crying. You've got this problem." "Why?" "I've got it too." "Nothing to be ashamed of. You're telling me the truth. You're reaching out. I'm not digging, you're telling me." I said, "You've got to be honest. I can get you help." One of my best friends has done his rehabilitation. He had to go back to prison because he reoffended because he's done a few silly things, theft, burglary, robbery. Bit of an idiot to feed his addictions. He's now fully sober. He's expecting to get married soon. He's engaged and he's got a good building job. He's got himself back on his feet. It took him a long time. The best part of 20 years of his life. And I'm proud of him. But the reasons why I'm doing this, because if I don't know. But the important thing is, it's not just like Mental Health Awareness Day or Mental Health Awareness. It should be every day. I have seen so many adverts on billboards and on the internet or on TV about end violence against women, discrimination, harassment, men, domestic violence, order, mental health. I've seen so many. But we have this Mental Health Awareness Month. How many sports stars do we know that have admitted to having depression? Some have taken their own lives. Rick Ripon, for example, took his own life. Ice hockey player. Hard-nosed ice hockey player. Played for my team, the Jets. Very proudly. Only for a brief spell, but he took his own life. You've got, Derek Boogaard, the big Minnesota Wild former enforcer, used to play also for the Rangers for a brief period. I accidentally overdosed, partly because he had all the brain injuries, but still died very young. And there was drug addiction there. Bob Probert obviously died of a heart attack. The addiction issues. Grant Fuhr, another NHL legend. So if you are an NHL fan, you've got your Gazzets, you've got your Maradonas, you've got all these players. Wade Belak, another one who took his life young, who I've actually seen play in the flesh in the UK when the 2005 lockout took place, NHL lockout. On the ice, absolute animal. Off the ice, gentleman. Would actually stay behind, talk to fans. And it's sports stars are human beings. They are. And that's the only sport related bit I'm going to discuss. But in reality, in this channel's existence, this is my therapy. Talk to you guys. And that's why I'm so thankful for all your support. But don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to reach out to a friend and go, "I haven't heard from you in a while. Oh, how are you doing?" Something up. Do you want to come round for a coffee or a cup of tea? If you do drink, obviously do responsibly. Do you fancy coming round for a barbecue with a few beers? If you haven't seen a friend for a while, arrange something. And if they say no, or they're still struggling, pick up your phone, text them, message them, keep in contact regularly, even if it's once a week. Because the target, what I've noticed, is the age ranges of viewership is the 1830 demographic, or well, the 1830 club, as the club promoters would call it in Ibiza, in those package holidays, the lads' holidays, right? Suicide and addiction-related deaths are the biggest killers of young men between the ages of 18 and 40. Women, it seems, and there are some women who watch this channel and subscribe, women seem to be better at discussing their mental health and their addiction issues than men. They seem to be better. Don't get me wrong, women do take their lives, women do have issues with addiction, and then obviously Whitney Houston's a famous one, which is an example I'm going to use with drug addiction, and dying young. Janis Joplin's another one. So if we want to discuss music and film, but men, biggest single killer of young men in this country, at least in the UK, is suicide or addiction-related death, so overdose or other health complications. I've lost a few friends to addiction and overdose as well, and in the last couple of years, on top of the ones aforementioned, which have really been the milestones in the channel that have really hit me the hardest. I've been to too many funerals. I'm 33. Every single one of my friends who has died is below the age of 40. So if this video has any impact at all, if it saves one life and creates the discussion about mental health and addiction, don't just there is help out there. There's advice out there. Don't be scared. Don't be what I was. You're not alone. Now, I may live alone, and that's my choice. That is my choice. I'm very difficult to live with. I am a pain in the arse, basically. But I want to leave on this message. You're not alone. Talk to your friends. Reach out and say, look, I'm actually struggling. Reach out to your parents, your siblings. I'm struggling. Like, it takes 30 seconds to send a text or a WhatsApp or whatever. Even if you phone call, 30 seconds. Say, look, do you mind coming over? I'm having a bad day. That's what it takes. But anyway, from me, thank you very much for listening to me drone on for 23 minutes plus. Now, remember, look after each other. Enjoy the sport. And sometimes when a manager's under pressure, you've got to think, actually, he's got a wife, kids at home. He's under a lot of pressure, high pressure job. When a player makes a mistake, Some of the stuff, some of the players and athletes that we discuss on this channel have gone through with the social media abuse, the hate mail, the crap they get from fans, they've got to be so mentally strong, and it's not surprising that they suffer with addiction and mental health issues as well. So if I can leave a message, be kind, look out for each other, and thank you so much for all the support that the channel's had. There's some things we've discussed in this video that I've rambled on a little bit that are personal to me, but I've also seen in real life. I've been to meetings, I've done charity fundraising, stuff like that. I've spoken to charity fundraisers, and yeah, like, I've come across everything in life. I once actually on my job found a hobo drug addict in a communal bulk bin store. He made a little house in there. He was a heroin addict. Nice and friendly, off his tits on heroin. He was just coming around from his high. He was about to crash. Turns out he's also thieving and stealing for his addiction. But because he was in there, we couldn't take the waste away. We had to phone our office up, and he got moved on by the police. That's what they do. That's how the system doesn't care. So, yeah, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen what addiction does to people. It's horrible. It's brutal. It's done it to me. some of my close friends know the addiction battles I've had and the health issues I've had. But for me, thank you very much for watching this long. Please leave your comments in the comment section below if you wish, and also please share this video to as many people as possible. Get that discussion going daily. Don't know, Mental Awareness Day or Mental Awareness Month. Fuck it, do it every day. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, look out for each other. Peace out.